What is Bigfoot? A myth? A legend? A hoax? Or a real flesh and blood creature? What about the reported sightings of Bigfoot? They can't all be misidentified animals. And how is it that most Native American cultures have stories about Bigfoot? After two separate sightings of a Bigfoot type creature, I needed answers. I have now been researching Bigfoot for over 15 years, and I feel that my journey has just begun.
Today we're out here in between Roanoke, Alabama and Rock Mills, Alabama. And what we're doing today, ever since I've been doing my Bigfoot research, a lot of times I'd ask someone who lived in the Rock Mills area, which is only 4 miles from Roanoke, if they had any Bigfoot experiences. They go, no, there's no such thing as Bigfoot. But you talk to them a little bit more and they talk about white thing. So today we're out here on some private land, 20 full acres of it, and we're looking for signs of white thing. I've got a young man here who's had a experience with the white thing when he was a younger boy. He's going to tell us about his experience. And we're also going to get out here and we're going to walk this land and look for signs of Bigfoot activity or any other thing that could be white thing or Bigfoot. What we're going to do is try to figure out, is Bigfoot and white thing the same thing, just an albino Bigfoot? A lot of people say no. A lot of people's description of white thing has been a Bigfoot, but he's white. So that's going to be a long drawn out trying to figure out which is which. So without waiting too much longer, I've got Derek Edmondson right here, and he's the one who had the experience, and we're going to do an interview with him. Derek, what did you see?
Well, like I said, I was probably 12 so years old back in 90 or 91, doing what most kids do in the country, playing in the woods. And I was down on the creek bank looking for arrowheads or anything like that, and just got this feeling I was being watched. So I moved around the creek bend just a little bit, and that's where I seen it. And to a kid that young, it looked like something just humongous. But in all actuality, he was probably only about 7 foot tall. And I was close enough to actually see facial features of him. His skin was so tight that you could see bone structure of his face. And one thing I'll never forget was them blood red eyes. We just kind of stood there for a minute looking at each other, and then he turned and walked away. And I headed back to the house myself.
Now, when you saw it, was it standing up on two legs?
Yes, it was standing up.
It wasn't crouched down or nothing like that?
No, it was standing up on his 2 legs.
And you say it was about 7 foot tall?
Yeah.
Was it very wide?
It had real broad shoulders.
Broad shoulders. But compared to things that you've seen, the pictures you've seen of Bigfoot and this, that, and the other, would you consider him scrawny, about the size of Bigfoot that you usually see in pictures and everything? I mean, what I'm saying is
a little bit thicker looking.
A little bit thicker looking. All right, and did it have hair around his face, down its face and all?
His face was smooth. There was
no
hair on his face.
All right, like I said before, Derek's got 20 acres here that we're going to go search. I'm going to set out a few trail cameras. And like I said before, I very seldom feel like I'm going to catch a Bigfoot on a camera, but I do get a good cross-section of what's habitat in this area, so I'll know what kind of food the Bigfoot might have. Now, when we first got down here and was setting up everything, I looked off to my left, and about 20 to 30 foot out there in the woods, we found a dog that had been mutilated. Now I've taken several pictures. We're going to do a little bit of videotaping, but don't worry, we're going to cover the dog up so that you won't actually see the dog itself. Bigfoot, YouTube frowns on that. I mean, although it is educational, they frown on it. So we're going to stick to their guidelines, and like I said, we'll cover up the dog itself, but we'll show you the area and what we found around the area. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to anybody, but we'll get to that in just a moment, and then we're going to walk this land and see what we can find, put out a few trail cameras. Right here's where we found the puppy. He was the dog. He was about 25 feet, 30 foot off the side of the road here. His guts and everything were gone. His liver, his lungs, heart, all of that's gone. But we're lucky that we found it when we did. It's only about a day and a half, 2 days old, so it's really not stinking up the place yet. But there is some flies gathering around here. But what was really interesting is right here behind me. This all tore up right here. It looks like this is where the dog fought for his life, or where the dog was caught, whatever. It's really just tore up, and there's too much tear up for that to be armadillos rooting around in the pine straw. And there's dried blood marks in this, so we don't believe that there was an armadillo that made these little impressions right here. There was a fight going on right there. But to stay within YouTube's guidelines, we have covered up the dog. I would love to show it to you and let you see what the damage done, but a lot of people wouldn't want to see nothing like that. So we're going to walk this land. We're going to look for signs of Bigfoot, and we're going to look for signs of white thing. Personally, I believe some of the white things are white Bigfoot. Not all of them. Some of the descriptions that we've gotten of a white thing does not even resemble a Bigfoot. But it's going to be interesting to find out people's different people's description of what white thing really is. So I don't believe this debate will be over anytime soon. But here we are. This was here when we got here. We got 20 acres of land to look at, so we're going to get started. Although I'm not really sure what to look for when I'm looking for white thing, we're going to head out here in these woods. I'm going to set out a few trail cameras, and then we're going to just look for anything out of the ordinary. So that's what we're doing right now. We're over here. We've made it down to the creek on Derek's land, and we're about, what, 150 yards from the road where we parked, and about just a little bit further from where the dog was found. But I just walked up here and I found some more leg bones, and they belong to a, from what I can see, I think it's a goat. It's not that old. As a matter of fact, they could have been gnawing on this bone 2 days ago, because there's still cartilage between the joints. What we got right here is the remains of a deer. We can look at the skull and tell that it got a crushed skull. I don't know if that's the cause of death or not, but it's got a crushed skull. There's definitely really something about these woods right here that you just feel like it's an ominous weight on you, like you're being watched, and you know there ain't nobody out here. But I don't know if that's contributed to white thing, paranoia, or what. But I never really feel this when I'm in other research areas. It may be a little bit, the psyche may be playing with me because I'm actually looking for something besides a Bigfoot, something I don't understand. But I do got a feeling of things just ain't quite right, you know. But let's get through walking this area and find out what we see. We're standing here just now, and we heard a huff right over here on the edge of this, the top of this little hill right here. I don't see nothing. There was definitely a huff there. We're finna head back up that way though. Maybe we can spook something, or it can spook us, I don't know. Alright, it's been 2 days. These trail cameras have been out and we're pulling them up today. Sort of curious about what's going on down here. I can see the trail that we set this out for, and it looks like it's still getting a lot of use. So we're going to pull these cameras, get back to the house, get this video done. I'll put any pictures that we get, we'll put them on the end of the video and let you see what we do pull up. We hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe.
And tell your friends.
Also find us on Facebook, Alabama Georgia Bigfoot Research Group.